just so you know, the pair of you are both gynosexual NPCs.
Oh, I'm all about the punani.
That's basically what this is, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but there's a new name for it. Why? Why is there a new name for it? Well, this is because something is happening to the West, and it's been happening for a long time now, and we're seeing the very final phases of it, where everything is personalized and essentially commodified, but also categorizable, right? As in, can be placed into categories. And this is how the West is being dissolved.
Is this so that we never need to make assumptions or use the word normal?
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. But before we begin, go and watch my premium podcast on personal autonomy. No, that was the wrong one. It was meant to be moral, Thicc concepts, because that's what we're going to be talking about. I must have changed it, but also go and watch this because this is a good one, because personal autonomy is also at the root of what this is. In fact, these actually do dovetail nicely, actually. So personal autonomy is something that you don't really have that much of because you are totally reliant on other people, as Josh goes into in that podcast. And these relations that you have with other people are encapsulated in what I've got here as Thicc concepts, because we have a word for these things that describe a person, another person, and the relationship that they have between them, and informs the moral content of that relationship, all in one word. And so this is all stuff that we've been through in detail, and you should catch up on if you haven't. So let's have a look at a list of sexualities.
It's a bit long.
Oh, it's not a bit long, right? It's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
I love how gay is right at the bottom. The only other sexuality.
Yeah, gay. But anyway, these have been created to describe things. Right? Things like fictosexual. Do you think you might be fictosexual?
Attracted to fictitious people?
An identity of someone who is mostly attracted to fictional characters. The fictional character could be from any medium. Have you ever looked at a picture of a hot woman and you're like, wow, she's hot?
You ever looked at a drawing?
Fellow fictosexuals. AI generated a very busty young woman for you. You're a fictosexual.
Video game characters.
Oh my God, Lara Croft.
If you watch a movie, does that count?
If it's animated, Princess Jasmine in Aladdin? You're like,
No, not really. No. Jean Grey from the X-Men cartoon. It was all in the 90s, though. I'll go for that.
You're a fictosexual.
Right, okay.
It's an umbrella term for anyone who experiences sexual attraction towards fictional characters. That's everyone, because they're representations of women or whatever it is you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that needs its own term, right? What about mutosexual? Attraction to super mutants.
Oh, I thought that was going to be people who've mutilated themselves, because that would be a growing category at the moment.
No, it's not that either. It's a fluid sexuality in which your attraction changes from day to day. One day you'll be attracted to men. The next day you'll be attracted to fictional characters.
Didn't we already have bi to cover that?
Yes, but as they say, you may be bisexual, then gay, then straight, for example.
That's still bi.
Bisexual.
This is a form of fluid multisexuality in that you can feel attracted to all genders, but you don't always like all genders at once. I mean, it really is teenage girl in her bedroom thinking about this way too much, isn't it? Like, that's what this is. But I think that I might be on something here, because I think you might both be grey sexuals. Grey sexuality is the spectrum between asexuality and sexuality.
What?
Yeah, it's hard to know, right? But someone in the comments explains it means you sometimes feel attraction. So if I'm riding my bike to work, I'm not feeling much attraction. But when I get home and I see my wife, then I'm feeling attraction. Therefore, I'm a grey sexual.
So this is just like when you're doing something else.
Being normal.
Hang on, but to be straight, you'd have to constantly be thinking about having sex with your wife.
Yes, I would.
So otherwise you're not straight.
All right. I'm now grey sexual. And the next one, of course, is allosexual. Allosexual refers to when people who are not on the asexual spectrum. So people who are always feeling attraction. In other words, it describes someone who regularly experiences sexual attraction for others. So I guess I'm somewhere between grey sexual and allosexual.
You're a whore.
I don't know if whores feel sexual attraction to their customers.
Well, there's a description there where they're like, sometimes it's used as slut shaming to say that someone constantly has random attractions.
I guess you're right. It is whore sexual. That's correct.
See, the annoying thing about this, though, is
go on.
that, of course, government legislation in this country says you can't discriminate for employment, housing, services, or goods on the basis of sexuality.
Right.
So if someone does come in and insist that they're grey sexual or whatever, right, you actually can't disagree with them.
That's a good
Or
point.
you would be breaking the law.
Absolutely. It is the law. You must recognize my allosexuality.
Hello. What's happening here then? If she's grey sexual, why are you not?
Have you ever thought about yourself as a demisexual?
Right. This has got to be people who are attracted to demigods like Helen of Troy and Hercules and Achilles.
I think they may actually be characterized in fictosexual.
Oh, right.
No, a demisexual is where you don't feel sexual attraction to any person unless you have a deep emotional bond with that person. I mean, in previous eras, we called this being an old-fashioned romantic.
So this is not a whoresexual.
This is being in love with someone.
You got to love it when these perverts every so often accidentally reinvent trans.
Yeah, this is our old McIntyre's thing. They've reinvented Atlantis by discovering love. I just have really deep feelings for that person. I only want to have sex with them. Oh, you're demisexual. What? I think you might be a bit Das Flynn sexual sometimes.
This is German.
It sounds it, doesn't it? Being attracted to all people who dress like their opposing sex.
What? I only like people who are cross-dressing.
Not necessarily. Women aren't cross-dressing when they're dressing as the opposing sex.
I thought that's what the definition of cross-dressing was. If they dress as men.
Yeah, but they're not cross-dressing.
No, if women are dressed as men.
No, but people who dress like their opposite sex. So, oh yeah, no, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you would. Christ, it's complicated stuff.
So basically,
look at the one comment there.
Even like the Tumblr wiki is just like.
but this is anything in a dress. A woman, a man, a mannequin.
Yeah, something like that. But well, I tell you what is anything in a dress is femsexual, right?
Right.
So it's no. Actually, they say specifically this is the attraction to women, feminine non-binary people, and 100% androgynous non-binary people.
I don't know what that word means.
What the hell? Can you break down that last sentence?
No. I don't know what 100% androgynous non-binary people means. I assume it means non-binary people who don't identify as women, but are totally non-masculine and so are totally feminine.
So a woman who isn't really into sex, so doesn't make an effort, so calls themselves non-binary.
No, that's not true. She might make an effort. She might be femme presenting. So she just doesn't identify as a woman, right, in her head. But she may she doesn't feel like a woman, but she may look like a woman and present as a woman and still call herself non-binary. Because you're looking for an objective criterion here, which there isn't one.
Grug is confused.
Yes.
I am.
My brain just doesn't do unnecessary complication.
No, but that's the point. This is unnecessary complication, right? But it all stems along the same pattern. But good news, you guys are just gynosexuals.
This is WebMD. This isn't even Tumblr.com.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is almost a proper website one now.
You like chicks, right? And now there's a special term for that. When you think about it, it's remarkable how long it took this term to come about. Because this Tumblr stuff was from like 2013, right? 10 years later, we now have a word that signifies attraction to women.
Hang on. But we don't know what a woman is.
Oh, that's a different question.
So
And actually, that's kind of the point of this word, right? Is they've realized that, hang on a second, we've scooped out the content of the word woman. It's become very confusing, and lots of people have pushed back very strongly on this, on what is a woman, and we're kind of losing that argument. And therefore, if we create a new term called gynosexuality, we sidestep that issue, and now we can keep making headway. I'll explain why as we go on, right?
I thought super straight would have worked, but never mind. That came from the wrong place.
It came from the wrong place, but it's kind of the same thing, right? So gynosexuality describes someone who's attracted to femininity.
But if they're an actual woman as well.
That's the point.
They've rediscovered Atlantis again. They found out what a woman is.
No,
again.
they've gone. It's worse than that, actually. So that means a person of any gender can be attracted to someone who identifies as female or expresses feminine characteristics. So now both men and lesbians are gynosexuals, right? So what they've done here is, if you think the term straight, gay, and lesbian, right? They have the subject, they have the object, they have the relation, right? So
yes.
The person who feels the desire, the object of the desire, and the description of the relation. So they're straight, they're gay, and this describes the entire package, right? But gynosexual only focuses on the subject, right? It doesn't, it doesn't, sorry, the object. It doesn't matter what the subject is. So the subject could be a man, could be a woman, could be a lesbian, whatever it is. And so they abandon having to define this category, right? They have cleared out this category of content as well.
Yes.
So now it's only a human who is into females, right? An androsexual would be a human who's into men, right? This is a very clever linguistic trick. It allows them to continue. What?
But they haven't actually said females. They've said people who identify as female.
Yes.
So now it could also be a man having sex with a man is gynosexual. So we're back at
a man dressed as a woman who and a man who is attracted to people who are feminine. Yes, that would make them gynosexual.
So they're trying to clear up a confusion they created.
Yes,
by making the terms of reference massively more complicated.
Well, actually, in a way, it kind of does simplify things, and that's kind of the point of this.
Yeah, but only if you follow this, and it sounds like you sort of follow it. But I'm just lost here.
The point here is that there's a lot of information that is contained in the word straight or gay or lesbian. Right? You actually know a lot about the situation. If I would say that,
but
Peter
that's
is
what
gay,
words are supposed to do.
Yes, of course. Right? Yeah.
Don't be such a barbarian. Come on.
That's what thick language is for, right? And this is what the deep understanding, and this is why this is pernicious, right?
Yep.
So, because what this has done is it's stripped out all of the other information. Because I mean, if you say someone is a gay, then well, it's a man who's into other men, and men. You already knew it was a man, and that comes with lots of other things. And you know what kind of man, like the kind of social standing that person's going to have if they are gay, and the kind of things that they're going to do.
Okay.
And the kind of you'll have general impressions of all of these things based on stereotypes, frankly.
So at this point, I just want to recommend the book 1984 and the Newspeak Dictionary Project.
Exactly what this is going for. Right. Yeah. This is the destruction of concepts, right? It is the destruction of the thick concept that we use to understand human relations. This is all a part of the project, the long project of liberalism to ultimately destroy social relations. That's what this is for. Right. And so they literally are removing the concepts of the relations in this Newspeak way, in order to make sure we simply can't formulate certain kinds of thoughts, right? This would destroy, were we to adopt this, obviously we're not going to, but were we to adopt this, and if a child was raised with this Newspeak dictionary, they wouldn't have the concept of straight, right? It wouldn't be normal. It wouldn't contain all of the things. Like when a straight couple get married, you understand that we're talking about family, which is, again, a big, thick idea that has lots attached to it, lots and lots. And then you see this civilization built on top. Well, this is about isolating all of that, right? And you're isolating the very nature of relationships. So it almost exactly
is the 1984 Newspeak Dictionary, because the whole project there was to raise the new generation using this new dictionary, so that they were unable to commit thought crime.
Yes. That's what this is.
Wow.
And the thought crime in question is, of course, on the question of what is a woman, right? So it doesn't matter anymore. And so, thank God, Men's Health are here. Guys, do you know that you might be gynosexuals? Shut up. Just shut up, right? I mean, this literally is NPC code. Like, look at this, right? The number of terms and identities under the LGBTQ umbrella is ever growing, allowing more and more people to describe their sexuality with words that make sense to them. One word you may not have heard that's helping some people express who they are is gynosexual, as in literally the new NPC code has arrived.
I'm also intrigued that the picture choice that they went for was a black man with a white woman. That's a bold choice.
Wow,
you never see them go for that.
Of course it was. But Lilith Fox, a sex educator, tells us gynosexuality refers to being sexually attracted to femininity, irrespective of one's own gender identity or the gender identity of the femme-presenting person they are attracted to. As you can see, the expressly is to destroy the content of the subject and object. It's to literally sever that. These are now not relevant. These are not necessary components of what is being described.
Yeah,
but they are expressed about this. And so it's the depth, and again, it's so pernicious that this is being done in such a blasé way. Like, so much is being ruined here that they don't even realize. And we fall back on our traditional upbringings of knowing what men and women, fathers, mothers, and all these things are. But if you didn't have that, then you would be deprived of all of this understanding.
Yeah. So if this were to become the norm in every state school in the country, which is presumably the next step, because this will
and it has been right up until this point.
Well,
why wouldn't this be next?
The next thing is this will be getting pushed in teacher training.
Yeah. And then in 30 years' time, there'll be kids who don't even know what these old words are. And then you'll read old books like where it's like wifeman. If you read some old Anglo-Saxon thing, and that means woman, right? And it'll be like those sorts of words that have but this is artificially getting rid of the words rather than just falling out of use. But anyway, the reason for all of this, obviously, is because if someone is non-binary and attracted to women, gynosexual may be a better fit for them than straight, which would typically be used by a man, or lesbian, which would be typically used by a woman. So we can see literally it avoids the questions of what is a woman. It avoids all of these questions by simply exiling the content. And so that's all gone, right? Additionally, it can be used by individuals who may be attracted to femininity or femme-presenting expressions that have nothing to do with gender identity. Brilliant. What are we even describing? Like, how is this even connecting to the real world? So you can be attracted to women who are actually men now because they look like women. And so the reason, of course, in order to avoid being hindered by stereotypes of femininity as a gynosexual person, Fox suggests deciding for yourself what traits you're attracted to, rather than assuming that all feminine traits might be for you. Someone can be attracted to nurturing behavior and not consider this a feminine trait or an attraction pattern at all. So now there are no traits that are just intrinsic to people. All of this now is completely up for choice. And this is the erasure of the magic of romance, right?
When the erasure of reality.
Well, it absolutely is, but it's also, this is where, like, falling in love with someone, right? You don't rationalize all of these things. You just have these emotions and you describe them with deep language that, in one word, you describe a lot. And this is all going to go. This is all going to be erased. It's all going to be rationalized. It's all going to be laid out and categorized. So in future, we can have and this is the effect of the managerial state on the individuals themselves, right? Yeah. Everything is being categorized. Everything is getting accounted for. Everything has to be consistent and linear.
Well, and if we let them win, but to be fair,
and they are winning.
Stuff like this.
Why is Men's Health promoting this?
The 30-year-old version of this was going into schools 30 years ago, and it won.
Yeah,
and it's just been winning. So if this is the stuff that's going into teacher training colleges now, which it will be, it's coming down the track.
This aligns perfectly with the managerial technocratic revolution. Well, why wouldn't we want to be able to categorize everything? So of course we want to be able to categorize everything, and don't you deserve to have all of your own understanding of yourself categorized as well? And so good, you've got your own flag. That's the gynosexual flag. You're going to get a pin? Going to fly that?
No, I'm going to get a Polish work visa type A, which allows you to work for a Polish employer for up to 12 months.
Anyway, going back, pretty much anyone attracted to women or feminine traits would qualify as gynosexual. However, again, definitions of femininity and gynosexuality is subjective. So brilliant. Not even the definition of being gynosexual actually means something really ultimately, right? And obviously it's completely up to anyone how they identify. So do we even need any of this anyway? But anyway, yeah. So this is the latest way in which our civilization is being very subtly attacked by the international liberal order.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Comic Corner series. There's one on Batman, The Long Halloween. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.